Dr. Alana DeGrassa, president of Turning on the Lights Global Institute, and today, here we are in 2026. We made it, and I'm super excited because I want to chat with you about my upcoming conference called the International Women Build Confidence Conference. But I want to start off with an excerpt from a song I wrote called Upgrade My Life, and it says, I remember when they told me there was nothing for me, no hopes to keep on dreaming, and I was way past 30. I sat to myself and I began to cry and caught myself again and said, I will upgrade my life. And then it goes on to say, I can no longer live a smaller version of me. Woo, 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 two snaps. What a way to start off our conversation. And for the last 8 years, the International Women Build Confidence Conference was designed to help leaders, entrepreneurs upgrade their lives and reach new goals, reach new milestones. So even though the word woman is in the title of IWBCC, we do welcome men to participate, and they have as well. And today I want to share with you part of my story of courage. There's nothing like having to pack your luggage, to move across the Atlantic, to start a new journey in a whole new country called Portugal. And many of you who know my story understand that my company, Turning on the Lights Global Institute, began as I was in process moving abroad with my husband. And that journey in itself was the thought of what can I do to create somewhat of a side hustle that would empower people, right? So in the beginning, Hubster, he took the lead and he was out there in Europe, doing his thing with the business. And then we came back to the United States and we were living in Boston. And that is where I really thought about how I wanted to put my own seasoning and special sauce into the business. And so IWBCC began as an initiative to help women take back their lives, but it didn't start easily. Honestly, it was this one day where I decided I would pick up my phone and go live on Instagram when Instagram was very new and when many professionals were not sure if using social mediums was going to be productive or counterproductive. So of course I felt nervous. Of course I thought this is crazy. Like, I'm really going to come on to the social media platform when it's new, when nobody knows what I'm doing, and I'm going to be dancing to Diana Ross. And so I took my camera and I just found, some music. This is before you could integrate music. So I literally had music just playing in the background. I was dancing. I'm coming out, boom, boom. I want the world to know there's a new me coming out. And I just love those words. And then, I think one or two people started to watch until we eventually had what I call the UPML 7. These women who consistently would come on to hear me give tips about how to reach new goals, to hear me give tips about learning how to not give up, to think about vision boards, but then go beyond the vision board. And so these women started to meet, and one of them said, when are you going to host a conference? And I was like, a conference? Who would actually throw a conference together from just going live? And they said, if you throw a conference together, I will come. So there I was in Boston, deciding at that time, okay, I'm going to do this side hustle with as much of my heart as possible. I'm going to give individuals what they need in terms of helping them to persist, because that is what my expertise is in, and spent all that time studying. And so having that decision, or making the decision to, number one, be an entrepreneur, but number two, show up in it no matter what, that was difficult, because at that time, it's not like I had any following. I was speaking to my phone and it felt like there wasn't anybody watching. And I almost stopped doing it. And there was this one particular day after doing some consulting, I came home. And I think I had said on the live that I had decided to do, I will be back around 4 or something, or I was going to be back at a certain time. And I had turned the phone off after that, and I just was kind of like, I don't even know if I wasted my time or what, but later on, I just said, well, I won't go back on. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe this is not really working. And a woman from London, and shout outs to you, Shango, and you know who I'm talking about. She said, when are you coming back on? Because you said you promised that you were going to be on at this time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, there I am in my sweats getting ready to be done for the day. And I'm like, no, I made a promise. I'm coming back on here. I'm putting on makeup just for this one lady. So I went back on the live on Instagram, and then she was there, and some of the other people that had been following for a while was there as well, until it became a routine where they got used to asking me to share a poem or share something. And you know, with time, it just became rhythm and routine, and I started to meet a lot of people. I started to hear a lot of the stories of individuals, and I said, you know what? I have to keep doing this because I can see that it's empowering individuals. I can see there's something to this. But mind you, I didn't have a business yet. I wasn't sure how things were going to work out. I didn't have any set idea at that time, because prior to that, my role was primarily as a professor, an educator, a consultant, and I was okay with that. But there was a window of time that happened between the move from Portugal and moving back home and starting this business, where I had to ask myself, okay, am I taking this seriously? Is it a hobby, or how am I going to show up? Because when I show up to work, I'm fully ready. I'm fully motivated to go to work. I got my agenda for the day. So what am I going to do now? And so what I remember was just making the decision to bet on myself, to say, what would happen if I actually treated this as if this was my real job? Like, how would I show up differently? And it was difficult because I thought to myself, well, you know, I'm not like, and you can fill in the blank, where you ever had a time where you thought about becoming something and you start immediately seeing whoever those people are who are like 10 steps ahead of you and saying to yourself, I'm not like any of these people. So how is this really going to work, right? And I had imposter. I had people years before who just didn't know my potential, or maybe they saw something and they were like, you have these big dreams, but I don't know if those dreams can really happen for you or someone like you. So y'all know what I mean, right? So I had that going on. And then I had my own procrastination, which was like self-sabotage, because even though I could see where I wanted to go, I didn't always show up in my dream. So this particular time, I said, what would happen if I actually showed up fully? And I tell you, so many things happened. Well, after that call and after people started coming, I actually decided to go ahead and launch the very first conference. And these women, I had met them all online. I met some on Facebook. I had met some on Instagram. I had met some on LinkedIn. And these women decided to come from North Carolina, Atlanta, Trinidad and Tobago, all to come and share their story of courage. My goal with them was to give them tools to recognize that even if they were working a full-time job or whatever they were doing, if they still had a heart cry to do something, like maybe they were a writer, maybe they did spoken word poetry, and you know, if they still had that desire, my goal was to help pull it out. And so in that first year of 2018, I think I had 4 or 5 speakers, and they told their story. They told their story based upon the coaching that I provided with them. And then something magical happened. We all got together, and when we met, it was like we had known each other for years. It was like this moment where it was like you were going to be okay and they were going to be okay, because we all came together in solidarity for something that we really wanted, which was to impact the lives of others. Mind you, there were only 23 individuals in attendance that first time around. And we then had an inner circle after that, but I will tell you, it felt like 100 people were there, because we knew what it took to get on that plane, to get on that bus, to get on the train. We knew that it was more than just what we saw in the room. We knew that we were bringing together the synergy of a mastermind, of having the audacious goal of dreaming. And after that first year, then time went on, more people started to learn about it, and I had one of our first sponsors from Webster Bank reach out and tell me that he just was inspired by what he saw. So I just want to encourage you to know, if you have a goal and a dream, in the beginning, it always feels weird, and usually there's no words to put to it because you're still crafting, you're ideating, you don't know yet what's going to happen, you don't know who you're going to meet, you don't know. And I always laugh when I see the very first set of marketing materials that I created, because it literally was a black and white pamphlet that I made that literally said IWBCC, but it wasn't beautiful. It was literally just a sheet of paper with the agenda and everything else. It didn't have all this fancy copy. It was just what it was. And then we had that, and then 2019 hit, and like I said, we had our first couple of sponsors. We had more than 123 registrants, and then right after that, boom, the pandemic happened. And I remember feeling so nervous and asking myself, am I going to keep doing this? Like, how do I know that this is going to be successful? How can I continue to let my business shine? But you know what? It kicked us into gear. And it really allowed us to come together because we said, this is the pandemic. We know that this is a challenging time, but if we stick together somehow, we are going to come out. And I will say there's something so beautiful about being in a community with other entrepreneurs. And one thing that I tried to do with the conference was make it so that it was something that individuals who just really wanted to upgrade could be a part of. And so we have the IWBCC Facebook community. There's no fee to be in that community. And if you need a community, just comment below or join us. So fast forward, what are some of the things we've covered over the years? We've had Upgrade My Life in Biz. We've had Women Build Confidence. We've had the theme of being the best. We've had the theme of being unrecognizable. And this year, it is just what it is. Women building confidence in an AI world. Like thinking about how can we build confidence as professionals and leaders with all of the things that technology has provided for us. But we also are seeing there's so many things globally happening. There's so many things socially happening. There's so many things just going on in our day-to-day, in every single infrastructure that we have in our society, that this time around for 2026, I really decided, you know what? I would love to see the stories of courage of other individuals. So my story of courage was simply deciding that I would show up in a brand new way, that I would no longer just swallow all of the excuses as to why I couldn't be successful or I couldn't make an impact, but I would stand into the desire of those I wanted to help. And it was difficult. Those first couple of years, it was very, very difficult. But I am also proud to say that we didn't just stop at those 4 people and 7 people and 23. We continued to grow. But one of the things that has remained true since then and now is that it's not about the numbers as it is about hearts for me. Because truly, it's just about that. It's about that synergy. It's about that energy. And so I want to say 2026 is going to be amazing. 2025 was really great, but I also took time to really rest. I took time to pause and reflect because you guys know if you're a leader and you lead people, at some point you do need to rest to avoid burnout. So after the pandemic, after seeing so many women's lives changed, after being a part of so many launches and being a part of what I call betas for all the people that have gone through our programs, I needed to rest. I needed to get back. And I call it the 5-mile equation because in this time, it's kind of like my own story of courage is shifting. As you get from one mountain top, right, then it's kind of like you're trying to go to the next mountain. And if you're in my age group, Gen Xers, and you're going through perimenopause and all the other things, my goodness, you're going through another journey. But you're still beautiful, you're still valuable, you're still 5-star. So in this conference, we know that many of you are working. We know that many people lost jobs. We know that many people are I feel like sitting on amazing talent. And this is the time, if not any, to bring that talent out. That's why I'm excited about some of the speakers that I want to highlight. For example, we are having our very first certified speakers come to the virtual stage. And Dr. Demetra Adams is one of them. Dr. Demetra brings wisdom, grounded leadership, and clarity to times of challenge. and she will share practical strategies for upgrading your objectivity, managing emotions, and leading with calm confidence. We also have someone who's been in the tribe for a while, Sharon Fuertes. We call her the Superpower Awakener, a fierce advocate for women and moms. Sharon reminds us that we are stronger than we know, and she will help you tap into your inner superpowers. Viviana Rojas, another woman who's been in our tribe, a dedicated child psychologist and beloved IWBCC coach and collaborator. She invites you to live radiantly and lead with emotional wellness, and she'll be doing a number of meditative things to set the intention for each day or most of the days. Tamaya Tomlinson, navigating life while awaiting a kidney transplant, will touch your heart and lift your spirit. I mean, her story is phenomenal. She actually came to Boston during one of our IWBCC events to meet the family of the donor that was able to, donate the kidney that she now has. We've asked video confidence expert Denora Walcott. She's a Harvard-trained actress and a certified life and empowerment coach who helps women show up boldly, authentically, and unapologetically. With over 50 film and television credits, this woman is going to talk to you about why developing video confidence is so crucial. And we even have an assignment for those of you who come that will just help you think through how you can grow your business with video confidence should you decide to use social media or a webinar as a tool to let people know about what you're doing. Tito Jackson, executive and elected officer who served in both the private sector, public policy, housing, and economic development. He will also be sharing his story of courage with us. Corporate leadership expert Ana Jimenez. This woman has so many awards and leadership awards because of all of the work that she does with C-suite individuals in the Latina community. She is recognized as a 2025 United Latinas 50 over 50 list. And she is also a co-author of Extraordinary Latinas, Powerful Voice of Resilience, Courage, and Empowerment, amplifying the voices of women who have overcome adversity and made their mark. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. We have real estate expert Alex Edwards. Alex is the founder of Thumbprint Realty and a successful real estate entrepreneur who's assisted numerous individuals in leveraging real estate to improve their circumstances. I mean, we have an amazing list of individuals who are definitely going to be speaking to us. We have Sandra Cheney, who is an author, coach, and just a woman with extraordinary talent, serving the C-suite herself. In 19 years as a co-founder and chief visionary of Sandra Cheney Enterprises, Sandra has helped countless nonprofits find their why and build a sustainable organization, but her sweet spot is helping women to thrive. Andre Joseph, award-winning filmmaker, actor, teacher, and advocate. He is a Staten Island-born filmmaker who began directing at age 13 and graduated magna cum laude from Emerson College with a degree in film. And he has produced, written, and directed an amazing film that he will share with us during the conference. He has produced award-winning projects, including Vendetta Games, The Saxophonist, Dismissal Time, and The Last Vendetta. He also works as a senior staff writer for Collider, and he co-hosts film podcasts. So these are some of the amazing individuals that will be speaking at our conference, including a new individual who just joined us, who has written the book called Soul Fire. And, when I think about all of the different types of people that will be speaking at our event. That concludes part 1 of the IWBCC story. Stay tuned and make sure to follow us at tolgispark.com. To learn how to get tickets, email us, subscriber@tolgispark.com.